Come on.
Welcome back once again to Dadnarok. This is Sean.
It's Chris. Zip, zip, zip. Inside
Tonight
joke.
we are talking about another one of these Misfit movies for the holidays. We're going through them between a couple weeks ago all the way up to Christmas week. We're talking about some forgotten holiday movies. And tonight we're talking about Ernest Saves Christmas.
There we go. Before we really get into that, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go on this Misfit, journey with us. We're going to that island looking for Misfit movies and trying to take them to Santa. So, yeah, just go ahead and do that.
Charlie in the box.
Oh man, yeah, this one was my pick, and I was picking some weird movies because we've done Medea was mine, and then we did Dutch, which was yours last week.
Right.
And now we're hitting Ernest Saves Christmas this week. So it's we're starting on some weird, wacky, movies here.
I've never seen this one.
I not after watching it, I know why I didn't never say it.
Spoiler alert. I'd never seen it. I always wanted to see it though, because it's like the Ernest movie, Ernest Scared Stupid, the Halloween version of an Ernest movie.
Yeah,
is one that you and I did see as kids, and I think
Ernest
we kind of
Scared
enjoyed.
Stupid actually scarred me as a kid. That movie, I remember it was early friendship of us two when we first met each other. I remember being at your place for a sleepover, and maybe my earliest memory of us staying over either of our houses.
Right.
And I remember I was sleeping on the floor in the apartment that you guys had. I was in the front, you guys were all in the back in a normal sized apartment before you got the townhouse.
Yeah.
And I remember us watching that movie and me having nightmares that night. It scared the shit out of me. I don't know why, but it scarred me.
I think the special effects of that troll were pretty darn good. I mean, he was slimy, and they were done really well as far as his effects, the creature effects of that movie, and also like the idea of turning little kids into wooden statues, like that was kind of creepy. It was like a really good Goosebumps episode, and then Ernest is kind of thrown in there as comic relief here and there.
Yeah. Well, let's do this real quick. Let's go ahead and watch the trailer.
Yeah.
And then we'll kind of get into it a little bit here.
Oh, wait, let me take off the wrapping.
In the past, there have been many traditional ways to celebrate Christmas. With songs, with gifts, with family and friends. There's a new way.
Ho, 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 Bert.
With Ernest. Ernest P. Worrell. He's back.
Know what I mean?
Back to save Santa.
Santa's in the slammer.
Look at those beady, twinkling eyes.
Back to save Christmas. Back to save faith.
You're dead meat.
That's life for you.
Isn't she a doll?
Ernest P. Worrell.
Mr. Sunshine.
In the mission they said couldn't be done.
On Comet, on Cupid, on Donder.
In the movie they said shouldn't be done.
Sophie, Scruffy, Blister.
You guys say you have a problem with reindeer?
Trim the tree. Light the candles. Deck the hall. And hit the deck. Because Ernest P. Worrell's coming to town.
I'm gonna die!
And he's coming
With colorful colors and festively wrapped packages.
Air brakes.
Ernest Saves Christmas.
The glory of YouTube.
Yeah, the ad in the very end where you blocks part of the actual ad. My dear God. Okay, let's start. Since this was my choice, let's start with your first impressions.
It was what I expected, pretty much, as an Ernest movie, and it fit more in line with, as far as quality wise. See, I always thought it fit more in line with Ernest Goes to Jail, which was one of the later ones that came out after Ernest Scared Stupid, I think. where it was the humor was a little too goofy and over the top. Um, I don't know. I enjoyed it for what it was. I guess I had expectations of what it would be like, and it met those expectations. And I even chuckled here and there throughout the movie.
Wow, you gave a chuckle. I wanted to shut it off multiple occasions. Like I was okay. So I have to put this side by side with Medea because like you said, you went into this knowing what you were getting into.
Yeah.
I went into Medea knowing exactly what I was getting into.
Okay.
Ernest. Okay, I had an idea. Like I don't remember much about him. I mean, honestly, yeah, scared me stupid. But the
Yeah.
rest of like his, I don't know,
His oeuvre.
his movies,
Yeah.
I didn't know much about it. But I knew the Goofy. The story sucked. There was nothing, and I found nothing funny about it. Like I found myself like, ugh, or like we're locking up an old man on Christmas Eve for what reason? And putting him in his cell with like 16 other inmates. There was so many things. I'm like, I didn't know. I was lost. I was scratching my head. I don't think I laughed. I laughed more in our getting ready for the show at the trailer
Yeah.
than I did during the entire movie.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. I guess we'll wait. We'll reserve our scores until the end, but um we're a little bit different. I guess it's just I'll say this. It's not one that I'm going to revisit. Like Dutch is one that if it was more widely available, I'd probably
Yeah,
pop in every year around Thanksgiving.
I would agree with
Th-
that.
this one's not going to be entering my rotation at all.
Oh, this one, this one I won't even look at twice.
Do you think it's partially because you are just seeing this through the eyes of a 40-something-year-old man now, as opposed to when we were kids and Ernest was still
Oh, if we
alive and
watched this
popular?
back in the mid '90s,
Yeah.
oh, I would probably been on the floor rolling.
Really?
There's so much about it when he pops in the house with the Christmas tree, and
And he's
or when
ripping the
he's like,
electric out of the wall and yeah.
yeah, or when he's like at the very beginning, he's in the taxi, and he's running over the suitcases, or he's running away from the people at the terminal. There's a lot of slapstick. Like I almost compare him to Pee Wee Herman. It's like I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like they're in the same category of type of slapstick type humor at that time frame.
It's
So
funny you mentioned Pee Wee Herman because we'd sat down as a family. I watched this. I had my wife and my daughter to sit with me. We tried to watch this last night actually. And I think my daughter lasted about 10, 15 minutes into it.
that's
And
about
throughout it,
right.
she was like, this guy's annoying. And I was like, well, this guy is like the star of the movie. So
She
she
couldn't
was
even
like,
connect with like the 16-year-old girl that ran away from home that no one's looking for.
no, it didn't. She didn't even give it that long enough to connect with the rest of the story because she was so out. What did she do? She did something slick. She sneezed and then she said, bless you, or she was like, excuse me. And then I said, you're excused. And then she took that as like, oh, I'm excused. See you
I'm
later.
not coming back.
I was like, no, your sneeze is excused. You're not excused to leave.
You're not excused. Get your ass back here.
And then she was like, oh, well, I do have school in the morning. I should probably get in the shower. Like she did not want to watch the rest of this
Oh,
movie.
she had no interest in it whatsoever.
No.
That's hilarious. I knew Zach or Skylar, neither of them would want to watch it. So like,
Yeah.
when can I watch this? Sneak it in and still be able to talk about it. I was like, okay, while I'm working, I'm gonna have it playing so I can kind of keep an eye on it and watch it and do what I need to do. And even watching it while I was working was like, oh, I was hitting the button, like, how much more time do we have on this?
What happened? There was a scene where he mentions like where the Vern stuff started. And I know, like, I probably know way too much about the history of this character and Jim Varney and Hey Vern and like, because he had even like a Saturday morning show that I used to watch as a kid called Hey Vern, It's Ernest. And like his character, Jim Varney created this character for like commercials that were shot around Georgia and different products where he would hawk them. And every single ad was kind of similar. Whereas that first person view where he's talking to Vern, like, hey, Vern. And
Yeah.
he's trying to like, hawk some like cottage cheese or whatever he's selling to Vern. and Werner's always trying to like slam the door on him because he's his annoying neighbor, right? And it just grew from there. It became something that started in a commercial locally in Georgia to something that was like, he had dolls and toys, Saturday
Oh
morning
yeah, no,
show.
it was a big deal for a long time.
Yeah, and it was almost like the poor man's Pee Wee Herman. And I was trying to explain the history of Ernest to my wife and daughter, and their eyes just like glazed over. They just did not
I
care.
I can just picture that conversation. You're sitting there, you're talking to them, like they're just giving you the nod. Just okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm like an encyclopedia for 80s pop culture, and it's just like falling upon deaf ears.
well, let's kind of just break it down here. So we meet Ernest, and he's a taxi cab driver,
Yeah,
and he's taking I don't remember who, some guy to the terminal, the airport. He had to get there quickly.
right.
He gets there, and what chaos ensues. He winds up picking up Santa Claus, and he's taking him. And how did the girl get in the car?
I think she was ditching a restaurant. She was like
That's
playing
right.
like dine and dash kind of thing where she like blamed her brother who's not even there and then was like running away from this the restaurant owner and she just basically dove into Ernest's cab. It just happened to be there when she was running away.
That's right. And then we get to drop off Santa Claus. He doesn't have any actual money.
Right.
So he,
But it is really Santa Claus in this movie. It's not some like theoretically could be Santa like Miracle on 34th Street. Like it is the Santa. And the whole premise of the thing is that he's basically retiring, right? It's almost like
yeah.
the Santa Claus, the Tim Allen movie, except instead of like, getting slipping off a roof and dying, you can actually retire gracefully.
Yeah, you pass on. It's like the magic is fading in
Yeah.
one, so he's got to pass it on to the other. And he kind of explained like, okay, he's starting to take notes, and it's like Santa
Yeah.
shouldn't have to take notes on where he's going. So his memory is starting to lose that. At 141 years old, I think he said at some point in the movie he was.
Yeah, and he started doing the Santa Claus gig back in like 1849 or something. So he'd been doing it a while, and he said he'd probably been holding on to it too long because he just enjoyed doing it so much. And this, honestly, this part of the movie with Santa passing on, like this could have been its own movie without an Ernest influence.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because it felt like two separate movies going on. It felt like this Santa Claus movie that was trying to pass on the torch to this guy, trying to get him to believe in Santa, trying to get him to see that this is his path, and the plight of this poor Santa who's like, gone to these different people in the past and nobody's worked out, and he's getting desperate to like because if the magic diminishes enough, then like Christmas is gone. You know what I mean? Like
Christmas is
that
done.
in
Yeah,
itself makes for kind of a like an interesting, bold kind of Christmas movie that I can see in something like The Santa Claus. And then you kind of thrust Ernest upon that whole story, and it just seems so disjointed, I guess, because it goes from the search for a new Santa back to Ernest and whatever he's doing, and then this girl and whatever she's doing and her story,
well,
and it's kind of
the
like
search for
almost three different
Santa.
movies.
Yeah, the search for Santa is a really just kind of heartfelt,
Yeah,
serious kind of you know storyline there. And then you have the slapstick that's just kind of thrown in there with Ernest. And I feel like at
right.
times it was so disjointed,
Yeah.
it made no sense. And yeah, and then there was that like coming of age, finding myself story with a younger girl. So it's like all three of them didn't fit within a 90-minute story.
It also felt a little weird, and this is probably watching it through, 2025 eyes versus 1988, right? But like the way they shot this girl and this actress, there were some shots where like they like pan across her legs and like really kind of zoom in and like where she's like, I don't know, it was very a little lascivious as far as like how this girl was shot and in frame. And then that made me wonder, like, how old is this girl supposed to be? Like she says later in the movie, like, oh, I'm 22, and she's lying. And then
Yeah.
Santa Claus is telling her, oh, you need to get back home like she's a kid. Like, is she supposed to be like 16, 17?
I was believing she was in the 16 range. But the thing is, I didn't catch that because I honestly wasn't paying all that much attention anymore.
Yeah.
It was like I was
Right.
paying enough attention to get the idea of what was going on and
Yeah.
not get lost in the story. Well, get lost. If you got lost in the story, you have issues. Um, but just to kind of have conversation, type things like, come on, if you are in a warehouse and you have reindeer on your roof upside down.
Oh, that was the 4th movie, by the way.
Oh yeah. That's a Saturday Night Live skit right there.
Right, yeah.
And you have that happening on the side. It's like, I would be calling. I don't know what I'd be doing, but I wouldn't be giving up on animal control. I'd be
Well,
calling
those
the
2 guys
FAA.
were in the other Ernest movies, and they were in the TV show too. They were like part of his crew or whatever.
So it's kind of like an Adam Sandler type thing. Once they
Yeah.
have their crew, they kind of always they stick together.
I always tried to see if I could do that, like that guy where he was like bounces and his eyes.
Oh, his
back and
eyes
forth.
going crazy? There's no way I can pull that off.
That'd give me a headache. But yeah, some of that stuff I laughed at, but every joke ran too long. Like there were bits here and there that were funny with Bobby and the other guy, the customs workers. There were some parts, like especially at the end, God, when Ernest was in the sleigh and like the
Oh, that
sleigh
went
was
way
flying
too
around
long.
and him and the elves were like screaming and like flying through the air and just like that went on like 5-10 minutes of like the same thing of them screaming in the sleigh. I'm just like, okay, I get it. Okay.
They're really working hard for that air brakes joke at the end.
Right. Air brakes. It was stupid.
I'm laughing more talking about it than I did during the movie. And
One thing I did notice, and I had to bring up here, I don't know if you noticed, it was probably a low budget production. I'm not sure how much
yeah.
the director worked previously to this, but almost half the shots, it was definitely shot in Florida. Takes place in Florida, definitely shot in Florida. And you can tell because everybody is drenched in sweat. Normally you don't see that kind of stuff in movies and TV shows because everybody's fully like full makeup on and like things are
Yeah.
comfortable and like even in something is shot in Arizona or Florida, it doesn't look that way because
they have a studio where they pull them off and they kind of dry them off. And
there were so many close-up where we could just see the shine on Jim Varney and just like everybody, even like the old man, like his beard's all sweaty, the guy playing Santa Claus. It's just like it looked like it looked rough. Like everybody looked like they were just dying of
just
heat
kind of
exhaustion.
miserable while they were shooting it.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I didn't expect while watching this movie.
Well, then they're making it snow in Orlando. Well, I
That's a
wasn't even
miracle.
100% sure. Like, I'm watching it. Like, I had, like I said, like you were saying, I had an idea that it was shot somewhere in Florida or the movie was taking place in Florida.
Yeah.
But when the girl went to the bus station, I'm guessing, they weren't very clear on it. And said, how far would this get me? He said, Miami. I'm like, okay.
Orlando to Miami, what's that? Couple hours at most?
Yeah, I think it's about 3 hours-ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're going further south. I mean, you could go, I guess, to Tallahassee and go north. I mean, I don't know what your preference is, but
right. Maybe she didn't want to go too far. And that whole thing too with like the girl, like that took a long time too, as far as she had Santa's bag and she was going through it looking for something she could like pawn or use for money. Even that like storyline, it had a lot of storylines. Like it's weird because simultaneously there were multiple storylines and each storyline was stretched just a little too thin, where there's just a little too many scenes of the same thing going on.
Yeah,
It was
I mean,
like basically it was like they had written maybe like an hour-long movie and had to stretch it to 90 minutes to get into the theater.
Yeah, I was those original made-for-TV movies that were only an hour.
Right.
So, see, her storyline was interesting to me. If they would have if they had the ability to make it breathe from her her running away from home, her not believing in Christmas, her finding the bag, and trying to get either the money that someone's wishing for, or you're saying something hawk, then stealing the bag, and then coming full circle, and then having that like that growth, and then giving it back to Santa at the end. That could have been its own movie by itself, and it's almost like a Miss Doubtfire type story. You'd have the young kid, and you'd have Santa going through that process, and then meeting up at the end point where he knew where she was going to get. But he was then doubting himself that she would get to where he thought she would get. That would have been a better story than slapping Ernest in there.
It's honestly, the more we talk through this, it's starting to sound like this was its own movie. And Ernest was becoming a hot property, and they just slapped Ernest's character into this movie that already existed prior.
To be able to put his
Uh,
name on it to try to go ahead and sell more copies of it.
yeah, because the more I talk about it, and I love Jim Varney. I do enjoy that Ernest character. I think it's funny. I appreciate where it came from, and I appreciate Jim Varney as just like an actor because he passed away a long time ago now, but he was the voice of Slinky Dog in the Toy Story movies.
Mm.
He did all kinds of different. He was actually like a theater actor, like just kind of broad, and you can see it in some of these Ernest movies where he was kind of trapped into playing that like that yokel, just
Yeah,
like
the
stupid guy.
slapstick. Well, I mean, we haven't even talked about when he broke out and he was all of a sudden the snake wrangler, or he
Oh
was
my
that
god,
guy's mother.
you didn't think the Snake Wrangler was funny and the accent he was putting on and stuff?
Nah, not in the least. I thought him acting as that dude's mom was
Yes.
funnier than the snake wrangler, and I just barely cracked a smile at that.
The old lady character where he's got the neck brace and he, like, kinda
Yeah,
scrunches up and the glasses, he did that in almost every movie, I think, and
it
it was
seemed
a part of
familiar to
it.
me. Yeah,
Yeah,
that one seemed familiar.
that was one of his go-to characters, and he was really good at just, like he would have been a great character actor. I think, unfortunately, he kinda got pigeonholed into this Ernest character, but I could have seen him like a comedy actor from back how, like, um, Adam Sandler and even John Candy back in the day, they were able eventually to do, like, dramatic pictures and kind of, like,
Yeah,
envelop a role and kinda change it. I think he totally could have done that, but he was kinda, stuck into the plane of the
it
sky.
was kind of before his own time, before
Yeah, a
he had
little
a
bit.
chance to do it. I wonder how much of this movie was actually ad-libbed by him. Like, they gave him an idea, the
Mm,
script. How much of it? How much leeway did he have to go off script to
right.
actually come up with something? Like, 'cause I feel like a lot of it was kind of like it could have been, but you can't really tell because it's the character.
It's so sad because I do enjoy the character and I like Jim Varney a lot, but more and more it seems like maybe he's the detriment to this whole like there could have been a lot better Christmas movie here if Ernest just was not in it.
Just was not in it yet. It
Yeah.
feels more like if you take Ernest's whole point out of this movie, and it feels like a Hallmark movie.
Right,
You
yeah.
could have told the two stories, the girl and the guy who became Santa, because Santa was the actual linchpin of that story. Then you have the young character coming of age, and then the new Santa, old Santa, old Santa passing on the torch to the new Santa, and that
Right.
could have been its own 90-minute movie, and that would have been fine.
Yeah, and instead of, like, the girl kinda disappearing and being in a house by herself forever and then going through Santa's bag, it could have been she could have been the tag along where she was partnering up with Santa the whole time, and the story almost like Dutch last week, where
Yeah,
we were watching the story of this kid kinda glom on to this adult and start to, like, warm up to them. It could have been this, like, bratty runaway kid could have been on Santa's naughty list, you know what I
hmm
mean? That was, like, starting to actually believe that this old guy could actually really be the Santa Claus and her inner turmoil of, like, her family issues. That could have been an interesting story, but that's not the movie we got.
that's not what we got. It sounds like we enjoyed the movie when we're talking it through,
Right.
but we're not talking about the movie we watched.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when we really have to pull back, like, okay, this is what it could have been. This is what we liked, but it wasn't what we got.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's take a step back here. We like giving these things a ranking,
Yeah.
a 1 out of 10. What would be your rating of this one here?
I gotta go because there are parts that I enjoyed, and I have a fondness for Ernest overall, but it was eventually honestly, it did not meet expectations as far as like I thought maybe this was gonna be the kind of movie that would enter into the pantheon of movies that I watch year to year, and it's definitely not that. So I gotta just split it halfway and call it a 5 out of 10.
Wow. Okay. No, that's I mean, based on what you were saying and your respect for the character and everything, it's not too shocking.
Yeah.
I've got to go lower. And honestly, I was struggling with possibly giving this a 2.
Ooh,
Now I will say I've come off that some because we're talking it through. We're talking out. When I was watching, all I seen was the negatives in my head and wanting to shut it off.
right, yeah.
Sitting down here talking with you about it, talking about how different the movie could have been and the highlights of the movie. and if we pulled Ernest out of the movie, what we would have gotten from the movie. And I
Yeah.
think that's going to bump me a little bit. I think it may honestly almost bump it 2 points for me. I think it would give it a 4
Wow. Okay.
rather than a 2,
Yeah.
which, I mean, we're still looking at a 4.5. So you know what's funny about that? It averages the same as Medea.
Oh, is that what Medea ended up being?
Yeah, because I gave it a 6 and you gave it a 4. I think it was, and it averaged out
Yeah.
to
Wow,
that
that's
a
funny.
4.5. So yeah, those two movies actually hit about the same on the scale.
Oh my
So
gosh.
guys,
Yeah,
if
you're
you're
right.
watching, have you seen it? What do you think? Are we way off base? Is this a holiday classic must watch in your house? It's on Disney Plus, so it's
Yeah.
something you can easily, watch. Or you know what? If you haven't watched it, go ahead and check it out. Torture yourself. Come back and let us know that we were correct. I mean, we like knowing we're right.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I'm glad I watched it as far as just like knowing what the experience of watching it is, and it's not like a curiosity anymore. But now that I have, I won't watch it again.
You won't watch it again. It's like, okay, this is a one and doneer.
Yeah.
So let's do this. Do you have any idea what movie you want us to watch for next week's show?
Yeah. Should I announce it now?
Go ahead and let us know.
All right. So next week, it's probably the most well-known movie out of the 8 that we're talking about, but I really want Chris to see Planes, Trains, and Automobiles with Steve Martin and John Candy. It's a classic. It is a Thanksgiving movie technically still, and we're still kind of in the Thanksgiving time frame here. Definitely want to
Yeah.
watch it now rather than later. So yeah, I'm curious what you're going to think of that movie.
Okay, that is one that's always been out there that I've never watched, and it's I think that one there is a casualty of my traditional movies I like watching and the lack of time that we have to watch those movies before
Right.
the end of the season. 'Cause I'm weird. Like I don't want to watch a Christmas movie when we're beyond the Christmas season.
Yeah.
So so I'm glad we're gonna be able to squeeze that in. I gotta put a few of my other movies in there still because I still have my traditionals I want to watch. But
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to
okay,
think what mine are. I definitely have to watch Home Alone, Christmas Vacation, and I try to watch Die Hard in the holiday season. But those are really the 3 that I have to watch, and others kind of sprinkle in here and there. Whether it's
well,
your Elf or your Home Alone 2 or,
yeah, we have a lot of cartoons we watch. We love the
Mm,
Prep and Landing cartoons. They're actually
mhm.
made a new one, so there's another one coming out. There is a Frozen one we watched. We watched the Toy Story cartoons. The ones we don't watch?
The classic like Rudolph,
Rudolph,
Frosty.
Frosty, uh, the Year Without Santa, or Twas the Night Before Christmas. All these older ones, my kids don't care for.
No, they don't, and they almost don't even know about them because it's like they have those animated things while they were fun to look at and, even in our generation, they were old when we were kids, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? But, like, so they're super old now.
Now I do have them watch Charlie Brown because I still enjoy watching Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
So I'll put that on. If they watch it, I don't know how much they watch. It's more like I'm enjoying it.
I think Charlie Brown Christmas has probably had a longer shelf life than the others just because it's branded with the peanuts. It's almost the most
Mhm.
famous Peanuts thing there is, Charlie Brown thing there is. And Snoopy and Charlie Brown stay kind of viable characters outside of that because they're a bigger property than, just their Christmas special. But yeah, I can see why that would still that's a lot of people's favorite, like overall
Yeah,
holiday thing is the Charlie Brown Christmas.
the Charlie Brown Christmas. Yeah.
But I think that's probably the exception. I think you're right. Like a lot of like the Frosty Rudolph, a lot of the old claymation stuff is just like not hitting anymore. And that seems like ripe for a remake. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why couldn't you do like a big CG cartoon
Oh,
Rudolph
there'd be an
movie
uproar
now?
about it. We're in a time where they wouldn't dare touch it because I know
Yeah.
there would be such an uproar about it from the older generation. I don't think our generation would care, but I
No.
think there'd be an uproar from our parents and everything about why are you touching these classic cartoons.
Don't
But
listen to them. Just be like,
that's
okay,
that's
boomer.
that's I wasn't gonna go there, but okay. That's a whole different topic for conversation. But these new cartoons, I'm not sure how many you've watched. I enjoy them. Like, I look forward to watching the Prep and Landings and the Toy Stories and the Frozen one. That one's good. There's a lot of them that are on Disney Plus.
Olaf's Frozen Adventure is probably the one that I've seen it more than 1 year. Some I have seen
Yeah.
these, but basically I see them the year that they come out, and then I don't watch them again. So, I think the Olaf one is the only one I've seen, multiple times, progressively throughout the years. But yeah, a lot of these newer ones, I think you're right. I think they are good. The quality, especially the ones made by Disney and Pixar. I mean, of course they're going to be good. But yeah, it's just I don't know if it's because of a lack of time. And Rudolph and Frosty had the advantage of repetition, every year. It's
Yeah.
boom, boom. It was like clockwork. They were
Well,
coming
it
out.
was on television, and it was
Mhm.
before streaming was anything. So we knew 8 o'clock on Wednesday night, you had Rudolph followed by Frosty.
Right, and it was a big deal.
And then,
Even my mom
yeah,
still, she's like, "Oh, hey, Frosty the Snowman, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on
followed
CBS.
by
You gonna
Frosty
watch it?"
Returns. Yeah.
Or whatever, and I'm just like, I mean, okay, that's not a thing anymore where we all, crowd around the television to watch the airing on CBS of Frosty
Yeah.
the Snowman. I could just pop it on whenever I want to,
Yeah.
but
Whenever you want to get it on. Yeah.
it's part of that, our parents' generation where
But
that
there
was
was
their
something
thing.
special, and I think there still is something special knowing it's going to be on CBS at
Yeah,
8 o'clock and
right.
sitting around and watching it. It hits different than actually putting it on streaming when there is no commercial breaks or anything. Those commercial
Well,
breaks actually give it more of a holiday feel, if that makes any sense.
it makes sense to me. Yeah, that makes sense to you and me because we have the nostalgia still of being kids, and that was the experience. Our kids don't have that experience. They don't have that nostalgia. To force them to sit and watch CBS for a half hour is just
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
for something
My
that they're not
daughter,
connected to.
one of her catchphrases anytime she watches live TV is like, "Why are there so many ads?" She, she's not used to watching live television.
Oh, yeah. When they call them, see, Zach and Skylar the same way. They call them ads. I'm like, guys,
Yeah,
these are commercials.
commercials.
These aren't ads, and we're not watching YouTube right now.
Yeah,
Granted, it's the exact same thing. So I'm
yeah.
splitting hairs. Or like when they're Zach's playing a video game, he's like, the AI is beating the snot out of me tonight. You mean the computer?
Oh, that drives me nuts too. Now special effects, like visual effects, that's called AI too. So anything that's computer generated, like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, oh, look at those sweet AI dinosaurs. No, no, that's not it.
Dude, we're sounding very old tonight. You know that, right?
I
This back end
know.
of this show is grumpy old men.
Well, they can start from the early days of Dadnarok and progressively watch us continue to
The
yell at
gray
the clouds.
increases. We start yelling at the TV. Let's do this real quick. Do you have any plans for Thanksgiving? Are you having a big dinner or anything at your
Well,
house or anywhere else?
we always host here. So we have, the folks that live here in this house, and then the tangential folks like Deanna's sons and her mother. They typically come over, and then my niece will come over sometimes. So yeah, people kind of pop in, pop out. Like my nephews may stop by, but usually, yeah, we host and we do dinner here.
The pop in, pop out thing, I like that. It's an all day thing. They kind of come and go.
Yeah.
That's not a bad plan. We went ahead and we had our Thanksgiving meal this past Saturday.
What?
Yes, we did it at my mom's house. My nephew was turning 2, so Courtney's
Oh.
son turns 2. And she's like, you know what? Because she didn't want to come up for Thanksgiving. She's having some difficulties with her pregnancy, so
Oh,
she's
okay.
like, I want to sit in the house. I don't want to do anything. I want to watch the parade. I don't want to go anywhere. And
Right.
I brought up the idea. So how about if everyone's coming there to mom's house anyway? It's only a week prior. Why don't we just do a birthday / Thanksgiving meal, everyone together?
Yeah.
And that's what we went ahead and did. It was nice. I am getting of the age where I don't care about Thanksgiving anymore.
Oh
I, j-
dear.
I don't like Thanksgiving. I don't need an excuse to have a meal with family. That's
Yeah.
kind of how I look at it. Is a calendar, a date on the calendar doesn't tell me that I can't have a meal with a family member or I have to have a meal. I'm exhausted by the time it's over. Like it took me the rest of the evening. Like I think you've said it before about people like you have that social battery that just gets drained.
Oh, for sure.
I was beat. Like I went out back and just sat down when I got home. I
Yeah.
just needed to kind of get away from everything. And Janessa's like, I think you're getting to the point where you're doing better with smaller social gatherings.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm like, you're probably right. I'm like, I just don't like big groups. And I even made it aware to her too. It's not just my family. It's like it's your family as well. It's big gatherings. I'm just not a fan of anymore. So
Right.
I don't know. I like seeing everybody. I like hanging out with like Brandon and Daniel and me and Zach. We're all on the porch in the back for a large period of time. So having all the boys together is pretty cool. But just the the social drain, the just like I feel it, and you know my history with the family, so it's like
Yeah.
I just kind of feel the drain. So, but on Thanksgiving itself, we have tickets to go see Zootopia 2,
Okay.
and we're gonna go out to eat and maybe have pizza or something for dinner that day, and
Okay.
just we're gonna have the most untraditional Thanksgiving. And I warned Janessa. I said, "What if we like this?
Uh, there's a
What if
high chance.
what if we enjoy doing our own thing
Right.
and just being like, I like this
Like
because
Asian people at Christmas or
yeah,
or the Jewish people at Christmas, where it's just like, hey, we get a day
yes,
off from the rest of society.
because I know her parents won't like it. I know my mom won't like it.
Yeah.
But it's like, at what point, at what age, as adults, do we say we're starting our own thing? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I think that's important. I think when it comes to family traditions, like you have to do things that work for your family in particular. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, we have to work around like work schedules too. Like
Mhm.
Deanna has certain work hours and there's no like taking off. She has to be at work at these hours on these days or whatnot. Same thing for like Christina, and it starts to be where it's like we've had to do where like even Christmas when I was a kid and my mom worked, as a state or a prison guard essentially,
Mhm.
she would get what they called mandatory to so if people were like calling off sick during the holidays, which they would do, like they would force the people that were working a shift to basically stay there. So it's like my mom had to like work around that kind of issue, and there were some times where we celebrated Christmas not on December 25th. It was like Santa's coming early this year, or or even a day later. Which when you're family, you just got to like make do and
Yeah.
do what you can to make things work. So
Yeah. It's a weird, tricky thing with it being my issue is like, I don't want to press my issue on the kids and my
that is
wife.
new
But
for you. That's never been new for. I've always been the kind of being like, if it's a lot of people, it's like you said, it's like social bad or like smaller, intimate, 5 people or whatever, where you can engage one-on-one with people, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to a large gathering where you're just like conversation, new conversation with all different people. It's just like
Mhm.
it wears you down a lot quicker. I've always been like that.
Yeah, I've been able to handle it. I used to really thrive in those situations, and I
Yeah,
think
you
it's just the
did.
older I'm getting, the more I'm like, the energy isn't there
Yeah.
for me to continuously do it. It's a weird feeling for me. It's like I love being with people. I love being in groups. I love all that. I just find myself very, very tired at the end
Well,
of
I
all of it.
I do hope you enjoy your non-traditional Thanksgiving this year.
I can
Sounds
say I have never looked forward to Thanksgiving more than I have this year. It is the weirdest feeling.
You mentioned going to see Zootopia 2. That's the big movie coming out next week. I
Yes.
went and saw the big movie that came out last weekend, the Unlimited, what's it called? The Wizard of Oz thing? Wicked.
Wicked?
Yeah. This well, part 2 or Wicked for Good or
Wicked for
whatever.
good, yeah.
Yeah. Have you
What'd you
is it
think?
well, it was a
Okay,
lot of
well, I'll stop
Ariana
you
Grande.
there.
Okay.
We went to the first one, me, Skylar, and Janessa.
Yeah.
All 3 of us hated it.
Even Skylar.
Yes.
Wow.
All 3 of us hated it. None of
Okay.
us have any interest in going and seeing this next one.
No kidding.
But I also heard the second one, the tone of it is a lot different than the first one.
Yeah, not really.
Not really. Okay.
They throw some Wizard of Oz stuff in there, like Dorothy, but it's like you never see Dorothy's face. It's like so tangential. You see what Glinda and the Wicked Witch are doing, Elphaba, are doing kind of around and outside of that Wizard of Oz story. And you see some of the origins for like the Scarecrow and Tin Man and stuff, which is fairly interesting, but it's actually a very small part of the movie. Most of the movie that I felt honestly was just Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo just like singing at each other. There were like 2 or 3 scenes with them just singing to each other, and I'm just like I get it. That's kind of what this whole
Yeah,
show is, but it's like after I've seen it enough in the first movie, I just I don't know. They should have just made this one movie. They didn't need to break it into 2
they
pieces,
needed
I
to
don't
break it
think.
into two.
No.
I think it was because with it being a musical, there is a scene 1, scene 2, or whatever it is. So I think they just tried to just go along with that. But yeah, we weren't interested in it. I seen it came out. I was like, you know what? Not for me. Don't care. We'll move on.
That actually surprised me because you and your family historically have been fans of big musical
Yeah,
movies and just
this
didn't hit
one
you this time.
this one just did not hit. Now I was really interested going into it. So my
Yeah,
mom was she went and seen the actual stage play.
right.
I knew about it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot and see what it's about. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's just not my thing. And when Skylar was like, because she was really interested,
Yeah.
and she was like, nope, no, we're good. I'm like, okay.
Well, there you go.
So
We may have to do after the holidays. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a roundup and review for the 2025 movies that we actually did see and see which ones hit, how successful they were at the box office versus what we thought of them. And but that's probably a conversation for a different time.
movies I've seen. That's I mean, I'd go through
Short
my
list.
my Cinemark app. I was like, okay, which ones did I see? Like I plan on going to see the new Avatar movie with Brandon. I wanted
Oh
to see
yeah,
the Running Man, but I never got to the theater to see. Now that it's been out for like a week, 2 weeks, whatever it is,
a week.
I,
Yeah,
I probably won't get out to see it.
that only made
Knowing that,
17 million first weekend. Did not do too well.
I'll be on streaming in 2 weeks then.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, there's a handful of movies out there that I probably still are going to go ahead and see. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, one movie you do need to see before next time we talk is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, starring John Candy and Steve Martin, and not a lot. It's mostly those two on another road trip comedy, but this is probably the ultimate road trip comedy, the one that everybody kind of thinks about. Like I said, it's not necessarily a Misfit movie, but it's it's probably the most popular out of the grouping. But because you've not seen it, I can't wait to get your opinion on it.
There we go. So go ahead and watch that between now and next Monday, and we will catch you then to go ahead and go over that one. Jeez, I completely brain farted. Know what's going through my head?
What?
There's a snake in my boots. Catch you later, guys.
See
Happy
ya.
Thanksgiving.